Welcome to the Red Alert Film Academy, guys. It's been a while, and I'm glad we are finally back to do a classic film discussion video. As you might know, recently I made a short film, and making that really has resurfaced some things that I'd forgotten about when making a film, especially that feeling of disappointment that a lot of directors and creators get when they make films or make projects, videos and stuff, and when it comes out, especially when it comes to short films, when you're assembling the rough cut, when you finish production, you're going into post-production, getting ready to release, and you find yourself feeling disappointed with your film. You know that it's good, and you feel accomplished, but you don't understand why you're feeling this sort of feeling. So yeah, basically I've been experiencing that lately, especially when I just finished filming my short film, and I know that a lot of directors suffer from this, and I feel that if you are a director and you do suffer from this, it means you're a good one. So I'm not calling myself good, I by no standards am, but I want to break this down into two scenarios. The first one is your rough cut. So you've loaded all the footage onto your computer, production is over, and you're heading into post-production. You basically assemble the rough cut of your film. There's no VFX, there's no sound work done, there's no score added, there's no color grading done. You assemble the rough cut, yet you feel a bit of mixed emotions. The first emotion is, okay, I find that this is good, some shots look good, some could have been better, but the second emotion comes through and you feel a bit uneasy. You think, this film doesn't look like I imagined it, it doesn't seem like it's going to work, I don't understand why, because when I thought about all these things, they didn't really seem like this. The second scenario comes later on when you're done with all your sound work, you're done with all your color grading, and you're watching your film for like the 50,000th time just to make sure that that one sound effect is perfectly level with the volume. And you watched it so many times and you've gone over this film so many times, you really don't understand if it's good or if it's bad anymore. You can't comprehend someone liking the film because you've watched it so many times over that you can't comprehend what it is like to watch it for the first time. You can't think of any other way a scene could be played out, and you don't know what to do. So these two common feelings that I've been experiencing, especially just after I make a short film, and I know for a fact others have talked about it. But whenever they talk about it, other YouTubers, other filmmakers, they always just breeze over that subject. And I really want to dive into that and talk more about those two scenarios that I think are the main ones that people experience, just because I feel that I've gone through those, and I think maybe, just maybe, I understand them. Now remember, this is just my opinion about what these things happen. If they make sense to you, they make sense to you. If you disagree with them, you disagree with them. It's film is subjective, filmmaking is subjective, and I'm not saying this is definite, it's a fact. I'm a scientist, I'm not a scientist, first of all, and this is just my opinion. So let's go over the first scenario, when you assemble your rough cut and you're not quite pleased with it. So when we're in pre-production for our films, especially with me, it's probably the most exciting time of making a film. You're writing down ideas, you're calling friends, organizing locations, writing the script, and especially when it comes to writing the script, before that whole process happens, there's a spark, a small idea that happens where you either come across something that inspires you, you want to just make a film. And when you're going through these things, especially when it comes to short films and fictional work, you're busy making up the story as you go along. Every day you come across a new tidbit that changes something, or a twist that you come up with. For me, all those ideas normally hit me when I'm lying in bed and I've got nothing to write those down on. So I have to fumble at night, open up my phone, look at it in the darkness, and write some stuff down. But it always happens just as I'm lying in my bed and I start running through the entire film in my head. So by this time I've gotten a pretty much stable storyline and timeline for my film, and I'm basically going through all those things, acting it out in my head. Then when we actually get to production and all the things are set, we film, and I get to the rough cut, I find myself a bit weirded out, because the film that I've envisioned in my head at night when I'm in my bed isn't exactly the film that I'm seeing in the rough cut. And my only explanation that I can ever come up with for this is that when we are thinking about these films, imagining them, running through them in our head, we always have the best ability to direct people. We have the best actors, we have the best cameras, we have the best low light ability, we have the best cinematographers, we have the best of everything, the locations, the VFX, everything is perfect in our minds. And when we get into the real world and we actually film those things and put it into our computer, assemble a rough cut, we realize that things aren't really that perfect. And there are mistakes, and we could have done things better. And we don't have the best cameras. The best camera doesn't exist. You only have what you have. And we realize that what we've been envisioning, that fairy tale of a movie, that fairy tale of a short film, video, idea, whatever it is, isn't really true, because you can only do so much as a single person. So no movie will ever be perfect. What we envision when we are thinking about this film, preparing for it in pre-production, that is the most perfect film you can ever come up with your entire life. Because when you're making that film in your head, before you actually make the real film physically, nothing goes wrong. There's no weather incidents, there's no people not pitching up for your film, there's no interruptions, you have the best equipment, you have everything at your disposal. But when it comes to real life, you don't have those things. Something will always go wrong. Someone will always not pitch. Something will always not be as you expected it. Maybe someone said the line of your film in your nailed scene, the dialogue that really pushes the whole plot forward, the twist of the film. Someone said it perfectly when you're running through it in practice, but when it comes to the day, they just can't say it the same way. Things like that you can't really anticipate when you're in your bed, or like me in your bed or on your couch, thinking about these ideas when you're in pre-production. These things happen, and you can't predict those. And that's why we have this sort of feeling of disappointment, at least that's what I think, when we assemble the rough cut. But after we drop in sound effects, we've watched it a few times, the soundtrack comes in, the color grading, the VFX, all those other things come into play, I find that I start coming to terms with the film, and I accept it for what it is. And obviously if there are problems, you can always do reshoots and stuff like that, but I feel that after sitting with that rough cut for a while and really dwelling over it, accepting it, and pondering about it and watching it over and over again, and then moving on to the next processes where it comes to full post-production, those feelings do disappear. But then comes scenario number 2, where you're deep into post-production, deep in your man cave or your woman cave or whatever, going over the film over and over and over again. You're adding sound effects every day. You open that file, you go in, you adjust the levels of certain sounds, you add in a bit of a different shade of blue into the color grade, and really it takes long. My film we shot over 2 days, and for about a full month I was editing the film. It didn't take me every single hour of that month to edit it. The rough cut was done within the first week, but after that you keep going into it and you keep adding things, making sure everything is perfect up until your release date. If we didn't give ourselves release dates, I don't think any film would ever be released now, because every director is so finicky about what they want. You just keep going in and tuning and tuning and tuning until the release date forces you to just push that movie out. But there comes a problem. We've watched it so many times that we just really don't understand if the film is good or bad anymore. When we started out, maybe we had some sort of perception, but that was before all of the sound and color work came in and the VFX and so on. When the full product is there, we've watched it so many times, and as we should, to make it perfect, or as close to perfect as we could humanly get, that we don't really realize if it's good or bad anymore. And this isn't just a low to no budget problem. This is things that all productions have problems with. Think of your favorite movie. For example, let's say Jurassic Park. We view that as a masterpiece, something that no one can touch. If someone says bad about it, you punch them in the face. And you should. I'm kidding, don't fight. But if you go to Steven Spielberg, I can probably say 90%, I'm 90% sure he would have done something different. And we'll say, what? How can you do something different for Jurassic Park? It's a masterpiece. There's nothing wrong with it. Everything's perfect. Every single piece of dialogue is in there perfectly. Yet, I bet you, the guy will say, no, I would have done that differently, and that differently. And we might not see it, but we didn't make the film. He did. He watched it so many times. He went over it so many times. The vision he had isn't the vision that came out, because a lot of things happen that you can't predict. And it became apparent to me that this doesn't only happen to low to no budget directors, because I've watched this interview with Patty Jenkins when she was asked how she feels about all the love and attention and success that her film Wonder Woman is receiving. And just take a look at what she said.
The reception this movie has had, the critical response has been overwhelmingly fantastic, and then to have everybody in the country and in the world saying, we love this movie and it's killing it, how do you feel?
You hit the nail on the head. Totally surreal. Listen, we loved the movie, and we cared about it, and I loved even when I would watch the movie very early on, was like, wow, so many other people's great work I'm enjoying watching here. Mm-hmm. But then you work on it for a very long time, so you kind of, at some point, you start to lose the forest for the trees, and you're thinking, that's the best I can do. I don't know what to say.
Right.
So the world to come out and support us this way, and then for me to be sitting here with you is just it's crazy.
So as you can see, that is the exact same problem I basically discussed here. You're sitting in your room, in the dark room, with your composer, with your editor, with your colorist, your VFX artist, and you're working at this film for a long time. For us short films, maybe it's months. For those movies that are big feature, big budgeted, I mean, I don't even know what the budget for Wonder Woman is. Let me check. Wonder Woman. Let's see. There is $149 million. I mean, the most budget I've ever worked with on my film was probably worth a paperclip. Maybe 2 paperclips. So these people are working on films for years now. Years they're working for the films, and as you said, you kind of lose the forest for the trees. And you can't really tell if it's good or bad anymore. I remember when I released my short film, people said, we love it. I found a hard time believing that. Well, not love it, but like it, enjoyed it. I find a hard time believing that. And when they said there's something wrong with it, I immediately latched onto that and said, yes, that was wrong. I didn't want to do that. I meant to do this or that. And I should have done that wrong. And we don't give ourselves enough credit when it comes to that. We have to be able to sit back and say, you know what? I tried my best. I did my best. And this is the best I can do. It comes to a stage where that deadline release, when the release date comes, you have to just tell yourself, let the film go, put it out there. If people like it, they like it. If they don't like it, so be it. We'll get the criticisms, we'll add it to our knowledge of film, because you only get more knowledge when you really start making these films and you start making more of them, and practice makes perfect. And we have to learn to tell ourselves that once a film is over, it's over. We don't go back and see if we could have done things differently. We move on to the next project. And I feel that way the filmmaking process is perfect, because nothing's perfect. We may think in our heads some movies are perfect, but as I just said, those directors probably don't view them as masterpieces. They probably think of them as good films. I did well, but I could have done that differently. And to us, it's so hard to comprehend that they would have wanted to do something different on something we regard as a masterpiece. But when it comes to our own films that other people might consider to be really good, we wanted to do something different. So it's food for thought, things to think about. And I know that me talking to you guys about it really has opened my eyes on the subject. But as I said, it's my opinion. If you guys have something different to say, definitely tell me in the comments below. That's basically my view on the whole, is film perfect, how to make a perfect film, and why you're disappointed a lot of the times with your film, because I know I am. And if you guys are too, definitely share with everybody in the comments below experiences of you making films, how you deal with the disappointment, how you deal with you being successful with it or enjoying it, and also how you deal with criticisms and all those other aspects, because that will definitely be interesting to see. Anyway guys, I hope you've enjoyed this Film Academy episode. It's something I've been wanting to make for a while. It's a bit different. It's a bit more open to discussion, where I can just talk to you guys about a film subject, and I hope you guys have enjoyed it. But I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Definitely follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Links are in the description. And I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I've said that twice now. And share it with all your friends. Definitely share with filmmakers to see if they have the same opinion about this. If they don't, tell them to definitely leave it in the comments down below, because I'll be interested to see different views on that. You can also subscribe down below and leave a like if you've enjoyed this video. But until the next video, I will see you next time.